little update on what's been going on with the Invacar 12E. The chassis is now complete and ready to go. So we've been drilling out all of the floor, matching up to what was the previous, placing in all of the fixtures, controls, making sure everything are lined up. The engine cradle, everything's all been back on there, got it all fitting up nicely. Then finalised the welding on the chassis, thanks to a good friend. And then, started placing the floor pan back in, things like the control console, the seat runners, the seat belt mounts, and taking measurements off of the old floor, which was easier said than done because a lot of the holes were slotted or double drilled in cases. Have a look at that now. There you see the new floor. Been drilling all these holes, placing rivets and set screws in place as I go to make sure it all stays nice and true to where it's supposed to sit. Another thing, this front piece is a body support for the front, fits just up under the front of the car there to give it a little support. But this is actually corroded right away, so at the bottom end where it had been sat in soil and leaf litter, so made a new end up for that and then welded it onto the original piece. Little bit of heat and tweaking got it to align again nicely. All the original brackets here been re-welded onto the chassis. As you see with the original, as I mentioned, taking measurements from it wasn't exactly easy because lots of the holes are like this and they're kind of a bit all over the place, but I started off with the critical fixtures such as the controls and everything, started taking measurements from them and worked out the best place to fix everything in relation to the brackets on the outriggers, at the flanges on the outriggers underneath. This piece here is a new door runner. The old one is here. You see it fixes along the edge. Right, a bit dark there. Apologies for the camera work. I've got to do it all in one hit, so I got no editing software or anything, and it just a basic camera. But there you can see the rail that the door runs along in there, and as I say, this is a new rail or part of it. The rest of it is here. Those will be, hang on, again apologies, but this piece has to be welded up in there, and then that one plug welded onto there, and then we'll have a nice new door rail. Have a quick look underneath. Take this off. Ooh. Probably the floor is going to drop out now as I turn it over, but camera in one hand, try and move the chassis with the other. If it happens, it happens. Ain't going to hurt anything. There we go. So this is the underside. Well, looks a bit scabby at the moment, but that's mostly just flux and everything from the nickel bronze welding. I have started cleaning area up here, but until the weather is better, I'm not going to be able to paint it, so just as well bear with it and wait till a nice day, clean it all off and paint it on that same day, or at least get some primer on it that same day. That's pretty much where we stand. Say it's just been a case of taking things apart, putting them together, taking measurements, taking them apart again and again and again, but finally getting somewhere near to being able to start rebuilding. There's still a hell of a lot of work to be done. For one, the door needs remanufacturing. I've made drawings for that, so that'll be one of the upcoming jobs. Also need to make a heat exchanger, exhaust pipe. Need to work out which rubbers I need, because all of the old rubbers are still sat in the mud since I tore Brian apart. There's some of the rest, so I've got to measure up and see what's best suited, or hopefully even a direct swap. Hopefully you might be able to get some of it exactly the same as original, but we shall see. Meanwhile, the body panels sat over here next to my old Fordson. I've noticed since I painted them, it was fairly smooth finish at first, but I don't know, probably won't see anything here because the lights are bad, but it started to get little dimples on the surface, and I wonder if that was at some point during the paint's curing, it decided it was going to react slightly with the fiberglass. I'm not too concerned about that at all. It is a fiberglass body shell, and they don't really ever, well, all the ones I've seen always have little blemishes and pock marks. But yeah, there's a few bits here. Seat still sitting in pieces. This here is the door top. All sorts of odds and ends need fixing. I've made a lot of a lot of new brackets. A lot of new brackets and fixings so far. Still a lot more to be done. There's some the engine cradle and everything sitting waiting here. I was very kindly given that front suspension unit there, so thanks Adrian. I've yet to source the rear suspension units. I think what's going to happen is if I go to Spax, they can make up suspension units pretty much to my order. They've got a list of all the different dimensions of components that they can assemble into one coilover shock unit. All you've got to do is take the measurements and specify exactly what build you want. And I've looked at the website, downloaded the file or whatever, had a look, and indeed I can make coilover shock units to suit this application, so that's a good thing. Yeah, so yeah, just various oddments. See, like that little brace there, I wasn't very happy with the condition of that, so I've made a new one of them. All sorts of things have been remade, and it just, yeah, it all takes a bit of time, but finally I feel like we're getting somewhere. We've climbed the way to the top of the mountain, and hopefully it'll be a nice sleigh ride on the other side. Right, cheers for now, bye.